Hey guys, Stealth here. Welcome to the War Room. So, what has been going on for you guys last week? I hope you had a good one. My week was pretty good last week, except for the fact that I had a minor cold. I mean, who the fuck gets the cold in summer? That's just... that's just not what I needed last week. I mean, you never need a cold particularly, but... especially for me last week, I was doing a presentation for a bunch of guys from the Department of Justice, and it would be really nice if you could do a presentation and actually speak. So, in case you were wondering why weren't there any Stellaris vids last week, well, that's exactly why. I didn't want to lose my voice entirely doing videos. So, Stellaris is back on the menu this week. Anyway, other things that happened last week, and before I forget, I want to get this out of the way. I want to thank all of you guys who commented in the last week's War Room, so that was War Room 32, with help and suggestions for my body language audience. It's really useful input, and I'm definitely going to make use of a lot of these points. I'm not exactly sure how to execute them yet, but we'll definitely be coming to that soon. And things are looking up. I have been reaching out to some different organizations from different people, and they seem to be pretty interested in what I have to offer. So that's going to be a really good thing. But of course I still haven't made use of all of those suggestions that you guys put in there. And you guys actually gave me another idea, which is something that's going to be explained more in a separate video. What it comes down to is something that I call body language for gamers, which you may be thinking, well, what the hell? It's basically body language newsletter stuff, so email marketing or email, let's say email contact for you guys. What exactly do I mean by that? Well, what we're looking at is, for example, all the stuff that at least I used to be dealing with, and you guys may too. So think along the lines of, okay, how do you exactly do a presentation? So much for my voice again. How do you do a presentation? How do you do a job interview? What kind of first impression do you want to make? How can you use body language to get a girlfriend? I mean, that is something that some of us might be struggling with. Me, not so much, as you may have been observing for the last couple of war rooms, but I know for most guys, at least I used to be one of them, it is tough. How do you talk? How do you walk and talk if you want to talk to women? So more on that in a separate video. It's going to be up soon. It's just a free email newsletter that I'm setting up to help you guys out in a completely different area. But I'm still aiming it towards, let's say, us. The community that I've built up around this channel as a whole. Something else that I wanted to discuss with you guys last week is really think clearly about your communication. Because the way that you say stuff, especially online, is pretty much the only impression that you make. I mean, I have the luxury of having actual voice tones that I can use. I can use a high tone, I can use a low tone, I can make it a question by just raising my voice at the end of a sentence. In a comment, that doesn't always come across. Now, I like to think of myself as a pretty approachable guy, but when someone just starts making random comments which are clearly not exactly designed to help out, then my first response is like, dude, what the hell? So here's what happened. Last week, a guy called Marius gave me a random comment in one of my Stellaris vids, and he said, oh great, just another Stellaris player that doesn't pause, like time stays still all by itself, and his enemies don't develop during it. So I was like, what exactly do you mean? Am I doing something wrong or whatever? So I told him, dude, explain. He said, I mean you don't pause while you think about what to do next, or while making commentary. This is not a turn-based game. If you don't pause, time is wasted in favor of the other empires. Now he has a good point, and I told him so. I said, look, you have a good point. This is something that I need to work on. It's just his phrasing is all wrong. So I said, look, I see. A better way to communicate that to me would be to say, hey Stealth, you may want to pause your gameplay as you're deciding what you're going to do. Otherwise, you're wasting time in which the AI, or other people, if you're doing multiplayer, continue to develop. Be less condescending and just communicate better. And then his response came, and I think he was getting a little, I'm not going to say cornered, but he was not used to this kind of open to criticism response. He said, well, I don't really expect people to change their playstyle. So it was just some frustration venting. I mean, okay, I get that. If you see someone doing something stupid, whether it's in a computer game, whether it's in real life, whether it's, let's say here in Wargame, whether it's at your job, the easiest route to take is condescension. The easiest route to take is, look, dude, I'm better than you, just don't fuck it up again. Sure, but if you tell people exactly what they need to change and how they need to change stuff, that's when you're really helping them out. If you just say, oh, look, you're doing something stupid, then how the hell am I ever supposed to improve? How the hell are you ever supposed to improve? And this is something that is not always the easiest thing to execute. Because, for one, you need to be open to communicate. And by that I mean you need to be open to talking things through. But you also need to be open to possible people who are not going to be as positive. And especially on YouTube, especially on the internet as a whole, let's just say there are people around who may not always feel like communicating in the best ways. So I try to be different. I try to actually be different, and I try to go, look, this might not be the best way to communicate your stuff. So here's what I'm asking of you guys. Especially in Wargame, there are quite a few new players around lately. If you see someone doing something stupid, if you see someone doing something that is not ideal, or that is likely to get their stuff killed, don't just go, you idiot, you moron, what are you doing? Explain. Why does it work? Or why doesn't it work? What could they do better next time? I mean, it is so incredibly easy to just say, you moron, I'm never going to play with you again. Yeah, but you don't know that. For all you know, especially if you're not linked up with the community, for all you know, you don't get the luxury of that, and he might be on your team next time. What are you going to do? Are you going to shout at him again, or are you going to have wanted, or you're going to wish you had improved his gameplay some way? For me, definitely the latter. That's why I'm doing those rookie nights. That's why I'm trying to help people with the YouTube channel, and that's why I'm trying to help people communicate as a whole, as I found out that that is still incredibly difficult for most people. Another example that I came across last week of good communication or bad communication. My niece reached out to me. She's 21. No, I'm not going to give her I'm not going to give you her contact numbers. Not going to do that. She's 21, and she reached out to me. She said, "Hey, can you help me? I have a presentation coming up Monday. What do I need to pay attention to, and how do I need to work this?" And I said, "Look, I'm sorry, I'm busy this weekend. I can't help you." Sorry, my damn voice is cutting out again. I said, "Sorry, I can't really help you." The reason behind me not willing to help her is, it was very, very close to the due date, because she asked me Saturday, so that was 2 days ago, and the presentation would be today. So there would be absolutely no time whatsoever for me to really help her out anyway. But much more importantly, to me it felt like she only reaches out to me when she needs me for something. She only seems to reach out to me for, let's say, computer help, so she needs a presentation done, she needs to figure out how something works in Microsoft Office Excel, or she needs to know something about English, and that's the thing that she came to me for this time. She said, "Okay, I have a presentation, could you check the English for me?" And the first response was, "No, look, I'm busy." But the real reason was, no, I don't want to help you, because you're coming across to me as an opportunist. as someone who's only reaching out to me when she needs me or when he needs me. In this case, is she, of course. And initially, I didn't explain that to her. I said, no, I'm busy. But then the next day I thought, no, this is just not the right response, because there's still going to be friction. The issue still isn't resolved. And the next time I'm going to see her, I'm going to hold this against her as a sort of a grudge. And she won't even know why, because I said I'm busy, which isn't the actual reason. So I sent her another message. I said, look, the real reason that I didn't want to help you is that you're coming across as a bit of an opportunist. You never just randomly ask me how I'm doing or what's going on. The only time you seem to contact me is when you need assistance. And she replied, well, yeah, but you never ask me how I'm doing either. It's not entirely true. Sometimes I send her a message asking how she's doing and then I get no response. So I explained that and I said, look, sometimes I'm trying to reach out and then you don't reply. So it's not my end, it's your end. And of course, I always try to be really, really open. I'm not going to say, oh, it's not going to be me, it's just never me, it's not my problem, it's always going to be the other person. No, of course not, that doesn't work. And finally she got it. She said, okay, thanks, I'm going to try and pay attention to this, I'm going to change that. And if she needs my help and she is going to change her ways, next time I probably will help her. Just that this time around, no, she's on her own. Again, I could have just said, no, I'm busy, and be done with it. But then there would still be something, let's say, standing in her way. There would still be a grudge, there would still be something that she's not quite straight, she doesn't quite know what she did wrong, if at all. So the better way is just to communicate. That's just it. Third example and last example, and it's a really it's a really easy example, this one. I've noticed that lately, and maybe this is already the case in your country, but lately in my country, so the Netherlands, a lot of people don't use their car signal indicators anymore. If you don't know what those are, they're the little blinking icons on the side of your car, those blinking lights that are saying, hey, look, I'm going to turn this way, I'm going to turn that way, I'm going to change lane this side, I'm going to change lane that side. Most people seem to have forgotten that their car comes equipped with those. What it comes down to is, again, communication. It's coming down to exactly explaining what you're going to do. If you are doing this in, for example, a one-on-one conversation, clear communication is pretty paramount. If you're not doing it on the highway, you might get hit by a 1,500 kilogram car. Or I think that would be a 2,800 pound vehicle, something like that. Anyway, if you don't signal what you're going to do, if you don't show your indications or your intentions, again, lack of communication, then something may happen to you. And this happened to me last week, where I was just driving along the highway, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, came this motorbike. And it just was zigzagging through traffic, not indicating its intention, not really stating, look, this is what I'm going to do. Result, I almost nicked the guy. I almost ran him over. Not my intention, of course, but I was like, whoa, where did this guy come from? Explain what you're doing. And he pulled in front of me, he was shaking his head no, like, oh my god, what a stupid dumbass. No. I had no idea what he was going to do, and I almost ran him over as a result of that. Now this is, let's say, the most physical response you can have to bad communication, running someone over. And no, I don't mean if your significant other, friend, whatever, is not going to be communicative, run them over. But this is what can happen if you don't communicate well. Anyway, let's keep it there for the communication part. I hope the message is clear, talking about communication. And I'll probably be going into further detail on that in that newsletter that I was talking about, body language for gamers. Again, more on that separate video. What do we have coming up this week? Well, There's going to be more XCOM, of course. There's going to be more Stellaris. There's going to be Wargame. The thing is, I'm having to try and balance the whole stuff. Because the point of running these, let's say, series of Stellaris and XCOM is pretty much that you want to have an episode every day. Normally, I have one video per day up on my channel. If I want to keep doing Stellaris and XCOM, that means I'm going to have 2 videos up on my channel every day. There's a third game on the horizon. Yeah, it gets worse. Hearts of Iron number 4. So Hearts of Iron 4 is coming out this Monday, I believe, today. I've already had access for a little while. I haven't been actually playing it because I was busy with the other stuff. But that is potentially yet another series. I would like to cover the game. One of my subscribers has already reached out and said, look, it's a very complicated game, let me help you. Yes, please. I might be streaming this at some point, I'm not too sure about that yet. But I'm definitely going to have to look into the game before I'm going to be actually able to work it into a video. Then we have World of Warships, which I sometimes do videos on, and we have Wargame. And as you may have noticed, there's a little bit less Wargame content lately. It's because I took a bit of a break from Wargame. I basically took a week's break from it. Because at some point, I mean, you've just basically seen it all. I have, by now, I think 1100 something hours into the game. And yes, let's say half of that time is done or spent on doing videos. But a lot of it is actually actual gameplay that I've either been looking at or been doing myself. And at some point you're just like, oh, more Wargame? So that's why the Wargame content was a little bit lower last time around, or last week. Anyway, about Wargame, Rookie Night is coming up again. Again, I'll explain more on Rookie Night in a separate video. But the gist of it is this: if you are a newer player, join me Saturday for Rookie Night. We're going to be teaming up the newer players with the veterans. So that's the guys who have either a good number of hours into the game, a good win rate, or who feel like they are far enough into the game that they can actually explain it to others. And we're going to be teaming those up with the new guys to explain what's going on. Because Wargame can be an incredibly frustrating game. There's a lot of different mechanics that you need to be aware of. A lot of different stuff that you can mess up if you don't know how to play the game. And most people don't, right from the get-go. I mean, I was one of them. I started out with Wargame Airland Battle, got my ass handed to me by an easy AI, because I thought that the same tactics that would work in Command & Conquer Generals would probably work perfectly in a game like this. How wrong I was. Anyway, I'm going to be trying splitting this thing up. It's going to be a bit complicated, but the Rookie Night is, depending on how you want to look at it, it might be called Rookie Day, or it's going to be 2 separate streams on one day. So here's the reason why. Lately, I feel like I've been neglecting the Asian part of the community. So let's say the Australia, Asia, South Korea. I doubt I have any viewers from North Korea, but you never know. Let's say the whole of that region. Especially when streaming, I try to focus my time around the United States or Western Europe, United States, because that's where most of my viewers are. That usually means that because of the time zone difference, the other time zones don't really link up well. And this is, of course, not ideal. So what I'm going to be doing, and again, more info on that in a separate video, is I'm probably going to be streaming at 1400 hours my time, which would be, I believe, 6 hours later in Asia. And of course, I know that Asia is split up into different time zones. I'm just not entirely 100% on what, how, and where. But I'm going to be streaming at 1400 Central European time, or my time zone. And then do that for about 2 hours, maybe 3. And then sometime later, let's say around 8 PM, I'm going to be streaming again. It's going to be, say, Rookie Night Part 2. And that's going to be geared towards the, let's say, the United States area, Europe area. Again, more on that in a separate video, as I'm not entirely sure yet how to execute it, but this will be the plan. If you want to be joining in as a trainer, be sure to link up on the TS this week, so I know that you want to be a trainer, you want to help out the newer guys. If you are a newer player, feel free to come up, but there are some guys on the TeamSpeak who don't feel like playing with the newer players, unless it's a rookie night or a specific mentoring. Because you got to look at it from their perspective. They've been playing the game for, let's say most of them are like me, and they've been playing the game for about 1,000 hours. They have seen it all, they've been there, they're really good at the game. To them, it's just incredibly frustrating if they find themselves coming up against people or coming up with people in the same team who are, let's say, hampering their progress. Let's say that they are not that good at the game. And I mean, as a newer player, who can blame you? You're just getting there. But most of them are going to be, let's say, annoyed with the newer players. And that's exactly why I'm running Rookie Night. Anyway, everything and all the info on that will be in a separate video up today. And with that, I'll probably have, I think, 5 videos up today. What about the Rookie Night? This War Room, of course. What about the body language for gamers? 1 XCOM video and 1 Stellaris video. So I have my work cut out for me. It's going to be a lot of video material. A lot of stuff for you to watch. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers it for this week. Yeah, I got no further talking points, so let's just stop it here. Again, I want to thank you for being part of the community, being a subscriber. The channel is still growing very, very nicely. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with that. And if you've played any kind of part in that, thank you. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for allowing me to do what I do, for allowing me to help other people with Wargame and with other games. I hope you join it. I hope you like it, and I hope you're going to be joining Rookie Night. Thank you for watching. Make it a good week. Let me know what you're up to this week, and I will be seeing you either in another video today, one of the 5, or sometime along next week during the stream or on my server. Thank you for watching. See you next time.